So the numbers are in for real estate here in West Hartford in the month of March. And we're doing a lot of investigating here as we look at these numbers, comparing it to the past couple months to see what might be a trend and what could be something a significant change in the marketplace, right? Is it a blip in the radar, or is this something that's becoming a trend and a change? So we've talked about past couple episodes, the cold, long winter we've had here in West Hartford, Connecticut, and these numbers are going to shed a little bit of light on if changes are happening, or if we're in for more of the same in these next upcoming spring months. So before we dive in, if you have any questions, do not be shy. You can call, text, email. My team and I, we're always happy to talk and dive into these numbers or what's happening a little bit deeper. The first number that we always look at here is active inventory. This is the one that tells us if you're a buyer or a seller. This is the one that sheds a little light on who has more leverage based on the marketplace. So right now, there are 27 homes for sale, which when I compare it to last month's numbers in February, when we looked at the February numbers, there was also 27 homes for sale. So this number has crept into the 30s here or there, and then it tends to trickle back down as the inventory gets gobbled up. So high 20s is where we're at. A lot of sellers are still late to the market. They're still cleaning up their yards and kind of recovering from the long winter. So that has something to do with it. Last year, we got into the 40s and the 50s, by summertime, inventory-wise. So it should increase as we get into April, May, June. But I don't think it's going to increase drastically if the past couple years have told us anything. I think if we get in the 50s or even the 60s, that would probably be the highest we would see. I have not seen 70s in quite some time in West Hartford. And again, we're talking about single-family homes only. So active inventory, pretty much the same as past couple months and years past. Next category is closed sales. So there were 27 closed sales in March. February had 35. So we actually pulled back a little bit. And again, this is some lingering, marketplace weather data, right? Because there's less inventory on the market, less homes to choose from, there's simply less sales. There's only so many homes that can be bought, with the homes on the market. So the 27 sales is actually in line with our January numbers if we go back 2 months. And frankly, these sales that closed in March probably went under contract in January. So that's not that surprising to me that the number would dip a little. I guess the surprising number would be the February sales because, we saw the little bump in sales, and that was actually during the holiday season in December or so. So that is interesting. One thing I could say for sure, we've seen our pendings pick up as a team and even across the board here in West Hartford. So getting into April and May, that closed numbers will absolutely jump up and be much higher than the 27. Now, here's the challenge. Whenever we're comparing our median sales price and our days on market and our list to sell price ratio, like we're going to jump into, when we're using a small sample size, like 27, the numbers can be skewed a little bit. The median sales price can kind of jump all over the place month to month, and that's what's happened here. We saw that number bounce back to 540 last month after a really low January, and in March we're at 510. So the median sales price is 510,000. So we're still above 500,000. We've seen some validity there, and from my experience, this is due to the fact that sample size, the 27 homes for sale, is a bit low. And because West Hartford is so diverse, it really leaves it a little bit vulnerable without a good sample size. So again, we're going to continue to watch this next few months. To me, the other numbers aren't supporting a crash or dip of any kind in the market. When we look at the median days on market, we're 7 this month, which is very close to the 6 of the month before. So the days on market similar. The list to sell price ratio, was 103%, 103.85, so rounded up to 104, right? It's very close to the 105 from the previous month. So all other indicators are showing that the market is stable. The dip in median sales price is factored into the lower inventory that you have to choose from. So as we get that volume up, a truer median will appear. And again, it's something that we'll monitor and look at month to month. I'm personally excited to get into the spring season. We're finally getting some good weather. People are cleaning up their yards. It just starts to feel a little different in town. I'm very interested to see how the warmer weather will impact our market as a whole. So I'll be back with you at the end of April to go over what that looked like here. I would predict the inventory to creep up a little, the closings to creep up a little, and I'd be surprised if that median sales price didn't more than creep up, make a bit more significant jump with some of those other numbers climbing as well. So again, if you have questions, you're curious how this affects your strategy to sell your property when the time's right, and you want to do a little pre-strategy phone call or something, I'm happy to help. If you're a buyer that has questions about how this will affect the process and the search and timeline and your goals, again, don't be shy. We're here until next week. Make it a great week, and we're here if you need us.